What's good? This is Nigel. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Uplift Fitness Club podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, or if you're not subscribed or following the channel, please be sure to follow the podcast on any platform that you're listening on. Here we talk about fitness, finance, and motivation. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely you want to follow so you can be aware anytime we drop new content. Also, please share the platform, share the podcast with anyone you feel like the content may help. We drop new episodes every single Tuesday faithfully. So with no further ado, let's get it. So the narrative is changing. Like the landscape is changing. Thon Maker's brother, Maker, he went to Howard last year.
Okay.
He didn't get a chance to play because of COVID, but it's just like these players know that the institution needs them. It's not the other way around.
Right.
We talk about it all the time. What if Zion went to Morgan State University?
Man.
Think about it, bro. Like, as much as the Cam and Crazies love Duke, they love Duke. If you went to an HBCU, they love you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's not no fake love. It's not like, oh, we love you because you won. We love you because you came here.
Yeah.
Because we ain't never seen nothing like that.
Yeah.
What's going on, people? This is Nigel.
This is Brad.
And this is the Uplift Fitness Club podcast.
Reggie Bush in college, legend. You know, he averaged over 10 yards a carry every time he touched the ball first down. Bro, every single highlight you pull up, he bring one. Yeah, I'm talking about crazy. He's cut. It looks honestly, it looked like high school highlights. It did. Like when you see like a high school player dominating, just do anything they want to do. He was like cutting across zigzagging, running, juking the shit out of everybody, making a 50-yard run into really he ran 80 yards, right? 50-yard run, yeah, because of the moves he's doing, zigzagging across the field. He looking like I'm not even sure. Something happened that year. Maybe they didn't recruit. Maybe they had D3 players and D1
In the Pac-10?
Yeah, I don't know what was going on because his highlights was too crazy.
Some conferences, like, they're not really emphasizing defense.
Yeah.
Or they're just like, it's an offensive conference. I don't know if the Pac-10 was like that at that time, but also Reggie Bush was running like a 4.2. What he running the combine? Did he even run in the combine?
I don't remember him running in the combine.
Me neither.
But with football, sometimes that straight line speed doesn't always translate.
He had that elusiveness though.
He had elusiveness and agility.
Yeah, he was cutting on a dime.
And that's what really mattered because it's kind of like Chris Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Not only he had that straight line speed,
He got
elusiveness, agility. I guess, and that's what made AP so special too.
Yeah, but AP will run your ass over too though.
It's true. So he was doing whatever he wanted to do.
Man, when AP 2000, when he stepped in the league, AP was real.
Yeah, he was already running out. He was just running through him.
Man, AP, man.
He was already running through him.
All right, that's actually getting into the topic though. We could really just run through this list.
Yeah.
Like, we can just run through this list. So,
they owe Reggie Bush the half.
he did it. This is the thing, like, I'm seeing here, I mean, NCAA is all about posturing, you know what I'm saying? Like, we seen him do it. We seen what he did. I was there, you was there, 2005 Rose Bowl, like, one of the greatest games of all time.
Yeah.
Vince Young, Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush. I seen this dude, like you said, every play, he break it every play, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was the best player in college that year, regardless of what he accepted or didn't accept. But when we talk about, like, what he actually got that disqualified him from winning an award, what did he get? You know what he got?
He got some money.
He got it was like $500,000 house, probably some bread on the side, so he ain't hungry. Maybe he get a whip or something like that, right? But you got to think about where this person is coming from. Like, who is going to accept a $500,000 house? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Probably a person who doesn't have a house. So when you compare like Reggie Bush to Johnny Manziel, who had similar type of issues, you know what I'm saying? Johnny Manziel was signing autographs during his Heisman campaign, but it kind of got swept under the rug because he only got a few thousand. But at the same time, Johnny Manziel don't have to accept a $500,000 house.
Right, because he came from a rich, wealthy background.
From a wealthy background.
Yeah.
So when we talk about, let's get into it. G, let's get into it. When we talk about a fair playing field, because all of these rules they're put into action in order to create a fair playing field, right? Like equality. But then you look at, okay, what do these people come in the door with? I go to a D1 college, you go to a D1 college. We got completely different backgrounds. You come from money, I don't. Is it fair?
Nah.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
If you could call your parents, you know, run through your money, you know what I'm saying, the stipend. Sometimes schools will give a player a stipend in order to play, you know, give food, essentials and stuff like that. You blew through your stipend, you could call your parents and get an extra $2,000. I blow through my stipend, I just don't eat enough food for a week.
Right.
But I still gotta show up on Saturday just like you do. So for a long time, we only gotta go through this argument. Like it's inherently unfair for people who come from poverty to play against people who come from money and then say that, well, you can't get no benefits after you come through the door. Your coach can't get you a sandwich if you're hungry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Certain things you just can't do. And on top of that, you cannot make money off of your man of likeness.
Right, while they're making
billions. No.
Billions.
Look at the gross revenue from a program like Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and LSU. Any of these teams that have won the national championship football wise, or even basketball wise, in the past 10, maybe 15 years, they're bringing in 9 digits, like hundreds of millions of dollars through their power program. Whether it's Duke with basketball, Alabama with football, literally, they're bringing in $200 million per year. And what is it coming from?
Athletes.
The athletes. It's coming from them getting the ad revenue, you know, the NCAA getting the ad revenue. If you got enough money to pay Nick Saban $10-12 million a year, where's that money coming from? Yeah. It's coming from the 99 guys on the roster that go out there, bust their ass every single year, lead the field with injuries, decreasing their odds of getting drafted. You know what I'm saying? Right. Only 1% of Power 5, or what is it? I think it's 1% of Power 5 schools, players go to the NFL or the NBA. Because, you know what I mean? I think it's only, how many, it's like 250 draft picks every year in the NFL.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah.
In NBA, you got 60, then you got some, G League contracts and stuff like that. It's not a lot of opportunities. I mean, so let's get into it, man. We already know it's unfair. We know what just happened a few weeks ago. Players is getting paid. Look what's happening. Talking about, you got a high school player that just signed a deal. I don't even know who he signed a deal with, bro. It's a $1 billion contract. Just because they know he could be something. Right. We're gonna invest some money into this player because he's probably gonna go pro. Man. Then you got let me see. Let's talk about the fact that literally every other college attendee can profit off of their face, their name, and their likeness. Like if I go to college, I start a YouTube page.
It's cool. You can have it.
It's cool.
There was a guy named, his YouTube name is Destroying.
Destroying. Right? You see him on the list.
Yeah. And what is he? He's a kicker.
Yeah, kicker.
And pretty much he had to choose between his YouTube channel,
right,
or staying on the team,
right.
And he chose his YouTube channel.
Absolutely. So this guy Destroying, he actually blowing up now too.
Even more, yeah. I'm sure he was already blowing up.
But it was low level though. Yeah. It was just the fact that he got ad revenue off of his YouTube channel, and they actually initially said it was cool and he would be able to play for UCF, I believe it was, but they pulled the scholarship at the last minute. So you think about this guy, I don't know what his background is, but he's just leveraging this experience that's pretty cool. Like no one really knows what goes into you being a black collegiate D1 kicker. You know what I'm saying? It's a rare experience. Personable guy, make some connections, now you're making money off of your face. Right. And they tell you because you made $1, literally. It's not like, you know what I'm saying, he was a millionaire. Yeah. Probably making a few thousand maybe every few months. You can't play football because you're benefiting from
From your name.
What? What are you talking about? Like, if I leverage, let's say I was a personal trainer, I'm just promoting my personal training business.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe they would say, like, you can't do that because you're leveraging your popularity as a football player. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, it's like, logically, it doesn't hold up. And literally every other college student can make money off of their likeness. So, it was bound to fall. It's a house of cards.
It's one of those things, right, to keep, well, it's a thing past now, but it's one of those things, in my opinion, to keep everybody in line, right, to stay with the herd, so you can rely on the school, and stay in the school and rely on the school for everything.
Rely on the school for everything.
Rely on the school for everything, meaning like, now that people can make money off their name and likeness, right?
Right.
They can walk away.
They got leverage.
Right, they got leverage. They can walk away from that school now if they choose to. You know, they can. I can go somewhere else. I don't need you, man. I don't need you. You know, you need me.
One contract, a brand deal,
right?
$500,000. You don't have to go to school.
Right. So now it's like a mindset change now with these kids coming up. Now they know that these schools
need them, right?
And not the other way around.
Yeah, it's definitely it was to take your leverage away. But then you gotta think like, what's the benefit of going to a Power 5 school? Exposure, right? And exposure is so that you can do what? You can go pro. If you got them skills like that, you really believe in yourself, we're gonna sell you this dream. You come to
us, we have, Saturday Night Light games.
We're
on CBC, we're on whatever Fox News at this time.
We're gonna give you this amount of interviews.
Right.
For sure you can play this position. Yeah, quarterback got you. You can play, and you'll probably start next year with redshirt you this year. They sell you a dream. Right. But in all reality, of the best schools, only 1% of players, let's keep it football or basketball. I think it's less than 1% for basketball. End up going pro. That's all pro leagues. That's NFL, that's CFL, that's XFL. You know what I'm saying? So you put in your
and these dudes overseas are getting nice.
Yeah.
It's about to be less than that.
So it's like, you putting your body on the line. Now what we know about CTE, you putting your mind on the line.
Right.
You putting all your time into this. And some schools are enabling these guys to the point of like, you don't even have to do your work. There's been scandals like that that come out.
Yeah.
And then you graduate, you go to college for 3 years. Right. But you leave that school with no expertise. You was basically a full-time athlete. And if you pick the wrong degree path and you don't graduate with your degree, you really leave it empty-handed.
Right.
And if you think about like, let's take it football, right? A lot of these black kids is growing up with one goal in mind, that's to play professionally. Right. Not knowing that the odds are inherently stacked against them. Unless you're a gifted, blessed athlete, it's probably not gonna happen. Don't mean you should stop trying. It just means that you have to have a contingency, something you can fall back on. But if you're using your opportunity with one goal in mind, I'm gonna go pro, and you're not focused on school, and you pick liberal arts as your major, once you leave, what does the time that you invested get you on the back end? A liberal arts degree, what is your options with that? You know what I'm saying? Entrepreneurship that you teach. You know what I'm saying? It's very limited options. And all of your time has been wrapped up in I'm gonna go pro. Think about the mental ramifications of that type of disappointment when it doesn't happen. So I'm glad these players can get paid off of their likeness, man. Let's get to the next part of this conversation, man. Because it's a deeper, darker criminal link. Man. So the ones, before we move on, let's say you do make it pro. Man, it's a very low chance that you're going to end up with a 15-year career, bro.
Not even a really long career, but just there's a very low chance you're going to get that max deal.
Absolutely.
So change your life, right? Because everybody think you go pro, okay, boom,
I'm good. You good. First contract, good. That's it.
Nah.
Whole family. Then they was talking about this on I Am Athlete. Black player gets drafted to the NFL. He gets a 3-year, $15 million contract. Everybody calling his phone.
Everybody.
The money goes up. One guy, I forget his name, played for the Bears. He came on their platform. He was like, think about this. When you got drafted to the league, you know, you gave your grandma my house. The first thing you did, I gave my mom my house. You know what I'm saying? I bought my wife a house, whatever. The problem with the black family is when the son gets the money goes up.
Right.
And,
we're going backwards.
Right. We gotta go back and undo all the stuff that was done to the previous generations.
Right.
But in a white family, you know, not all white families, but a well-to-do white family, the money goes down, and once you make it to the NFL, they ain't really asking you for much.
Right.
You know, now there's exceptions, and I'm sure every white player got people pitching in business plans, but it's not to the extent of where like your whole family lives in Miami-Dade County, and they struggling. You know what I'm saying? Rain coming through the ceiling. So these 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round players, they might get a few $100,000 on a 3-year deal, 4th-year option. But you fighting to get on the team.
Right.
And your contract is voidable if we keep it into the NFL. Right. NBA, a different story. But it's like you think once you get there, you made it. If you ain't going that 1st round, maybe high 2nd, you're not good. Half of your money off the rip going to taxes. 10% of the gross is going to your agent. And your agent was picked by them people, so your agent might not have your best interest in mind. Then you gotta have an accountant, because you don't even earn this much money before.
And then on top of that, right, some of those contracts are fluffed with
incentives.
Right.
Incentives, you gotta hit this mark, you gotta get this,
to get that.
Bro, and they control all the incentives.
Right, and if you ain't getting no PT,
you can't hit the mark. You can't hit the mark. You gotta be on the roster for your signing bonus to hit. They cut you right before your signing bonus comes and re-sign you midway through the season, so they ain't have to pay you that $100,000.
Basically, you can be in the NFL, you know, making what?
On paper, making $1 million a year.
Right, $1 million a year.
Let's call it $1 million. You know, you're supposed to come away with $300,000, but you didn't read the contract to know that you only really guaranteed $250K. And then off at the top, your agent taking 10%. Uncle Sam taking 35 to 50%.
Right.
Depending on where you live. Then your accountant, your financial advisor taking. And you bought a house for your mom with the first check you got. And now you really broke. Now you financing your lifestyle. Because you thought you had $1 million, you only had $250. The house you bought your mom cost $500K. What you gonna do? You gotta work for that next contract. For some guys, that next contract never comes, and that's where you end up. I gotta run these camps. I gotta do this personal training. I gotta go back to college and get my degree. Because man, I got this ACL injury. I ain't right like I used to be.
Right.
So you know, it's like the NCAA was really pulling the fast one, but it was taking food out of the mouths of these kids for decades, bro. Like decades. If you ain't go to school and get some money under the table, and they still couldn't maximize because it was on the hush. Like they really got over it. So now it's the roles are reversed, but let's look into why. Let's look into why the NCAA might have made this decision.
Yeah.
Man, why you think that the NCAA finally decided? You think it was the goodness of their heart? It was just like, you know what? It's been 100 years. Let's just let these players make some money off of their name.
It's coming from the people that are speaking out against NCAA. You know, the particular voices that were speaking out against the NCAA.
Yeah.
Those who were speaking up saying, hey, you know, this is wrong. You know, this has been happening for too long. You know, and things have to change. I think, you know, after going through the numbers, seeing how much these schools are making. Yeah. And, you know, like you said, you know, these players, you got players who they don't even have something to eat, right? If they already blown through their money, you know, and can't call back home to get a couple hundred or a few thousand just to make it by. And when you think about it, you know, these students they working full time. Like, absolutely, it's a full time job to be a student athlete.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't think people really understand that too. Like, I think the average person doesn't really understand the commitment that it takes to be a football player.
Yeah, and especially at that level.
Like, yeah. I mean, but even at the lower level, bro, like the college I went to, Morgan State, it's D1, but it's like, you know, it's a different type of D1, right? But and in no way is this like a top program. Like, nobody really trying to go there and think they're gonna go to the league automatic. But the commitment that these guys was making on the day in, day out, like they was on the field at 5 a.m. Coming to do weights right after conditioning at 7 a.m., 7 to 9. Then right after that, either they got class or they got film study. Right, you scarf down some food in the cafeteria, and you watching film. Like, by the time, then after that you got class again. By the time it's 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, like you've been up for 10 hours working. Then you might have another, you know what I'm saying, trainer. So you got practice at 5. So you go take a nap, boom, you on the field at 5 o'clock. People throwing up on the sidelines, and this is Monday, Tuesday. Maybe you get 1 day off, and then Saturday you gotta play. But all the people in the crowd see, if you don't have that context, is Saturdays.
That's it.
And they thinking, oh man, y'all playing the game y'all love.
Free education.
Yeah, that's enough.
That's enough. Yeah.
That's enough. A lot of these guys, bro, they just doing enough to where they're eligible. Like 2.0, that's it. I'm not gonna pick no hard major because this is too much. You know, and it's an exception. Some exceptions. Some guys are able to balance all of it and actually get something out of that degree. But a lot of these guys, man, they don't care nothing about that degree.
Right. Not trying to work.
Yeah.
Not even thinking about it.
Right.
Not only degree, but it's not even crossing their mind. I can't even think of anything else but the league. Because
all they know is just like, this is my dream. I dream to go D1. Hopefully I can do some type of, you know, try out and get to the NFL. Man, on top of the fact that, you know, it was these voices, right? People saying, speaking out against the NCAA, you know, people who've been through it and people on the outside. It's other things that was happening, like right before this happened. You go back to last year, maybe 2019, 2020. Deion Sanders did a HBCU combine. Every year, you know, they host a combine in Indianapolis. And it's 300-400 players that come out. They try out for the NFL. It might be 1 or 2 guys from HBCUs. But you look at the history of the NFL, you got a lot of great players that came from HBCUs. Some of the greatest at their positions. Shannon Sharp, not Randy Moss, Jerry Rice. A lot of guys, like I can't name everybody, but a lot of guys came from HBCUs. And if you go to the 60s and 50s, like the premier talent in the NFL was coming from HBCUs before integration. So, you know, obviously they broke the color barrier in the 50s and 60s, and then that destroyed a lot of the HBCU revenue from sports. There were no power schools anymore, maybe outside of Grambling. Nobody really wanted to go there because they felt like their best opportunity was to play at the Alabamas, the Texases, bigger platforms on top of the fact, boosters. So think about who controls the wealth in America. American economy, majority of the wealth is held by white people. So you got these guys that went to these colleges, they just love their team. They come back, they want the best players to go to the top schools. They gonna pay Eric Dickerson. I know that's your dad, boy. Eric Dickerson, give him a little Grand Am, Trans Am, whatever, nice little whip, 100,000. I think he talks openly about that. That they paid him to go to SMU. And there's so many colleges that have been brought up on sanctions for paying players under the table with these boosters. Miami, SMU got hit hard. Louisville was giving their players prostitutes apparently. Like all of these teams is paying these players. Ohio State, they got sanctioned back in the day. Terrell Pryor and all them guys getting free tattoos and cars. Like it's known what's going on. How was I gonna connect? Bro, I do this every episode, bro. How was I gonna connect this? So HBCUs is getting recognition, right? Now Deion Sanders is the head coach of the HBCU. You got players like Chad Ochocinco, Chad Johnson coming out. You know, he ride for FAMU all day. Eddie George is coaching somewhere. I don't know exactly where he's coaching, but Eddie George is a head coach somewhere.
Okay.
A lot of guys are injecting that notoriety and that credibility into these colleges.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your favorite player of all time might be Eddie George or Deion Sanders or Chad Johnson. So if they show up at an HBCU, well, I mean, I know I'm not gonna have the best resources, but I get to kick it with Deion Sanders, and I know he knows some people that can put me on. I know he know the game and can give me these tools, and I know we gonna dominate too. So, hey, now the NCAA not necessarily concerned with HBCUs getting this power, right? They don't benefit from any school being on TV. Outside of maybe, the fact Alabama got the most fans.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the institutions that control, the majority of the pie that probably pulled the NCAA's coat to like, look, we're gonna have to pay these players. Cause if they're, Snoop Dogg is showing up at the games, some of these guys is gonna wanna go there. Then you got Mikey Williams. Shout out to Mikey Williams. He never gonna see this, but Mikey Williams is you know about him?
Yeah, I know about Mikey Williams.
Top dog. Yeah. Top 5 player of his class. He probably argue he's number 1.
Yeah.
Dog. 30-something, 40-something points a game.
Mm-hmm.
He talking about, I might go to Howard, he putting like 3 HBCUs on his list. So the narrative is changing. Like the landscape is changing. Thon Maker's brother, Maker, he went to Howard last year.
Okay.
He didn't get a chance to play because of COVID, but it's just like, these players know that the institution needs them. It's not the other way around.
Right.
We talk about it all the time. What if Zion went to Morgan State University?
Man.
Think about it, bro. Like, as much as the Cam and Crazies love Duke, they love Duke. If you went to an HBCU, they love you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's not no fake love. It's not like, oh, we love you because you won. We love you because you came here.
Yeah.
Because we ain't never seen nothing like that.
Yeah.
So, and then think about like, any player, bro, any top 5 player in the country, if they went to an HBCU, the money that it would inject into that program.
Right.
You still gonna go to the
We'd all been trying to pull up to that.
Right. Everybody's showing up. And we know this because we seen LeBron James and KD during the lockout 2011. I don't know if you've seen the tapes. They came to HBCUs. They was running these games, like Pro-Am games. Packed crowd.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, if you really that tough, I'm not saying you can go to a HBCU with limited talent by yourself and win a championship. But if LeBron went to a HBCU, bro, you can't tell me he ain't going to the tourney. He going to the tourney.
Yeah.
He in there. Top 64 teams in the country, they in there.
Yeah, easy.
Steph Curry did it. Made it all the way to the Elite 8. Look at where Steph Curry is today.
Yeah.
So a lot of these players don't have that delayed gratification mindset to where, I'll make this sacrifice in the here and now. I already know I'm going pro. Mikey Williams is going pro.
Yeah. I've been hearing about Mikey Williams since freshman.
Boy, he don't look like he should be able to do the stuff he be doing, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking about he be up here with it. Like, damn, man, these little niggas fuck me up on the basketball court. Right.
But they said filet.
Yeah. That's what they on. So like, and he's one of those guys though. He had that mindset. Like, I don't need y'all.
Yeah.
But now you have this opportunity, right? You can make money off of your likeness. Let's say you sign a deal at an HBCU. I argue that the people at the school will support you. You're never gonna get love like you're gonna get love there. But at the same time, Alabama, a Clemson, a Duke can pay you so much more. You're gonna get on TV so much more. You're gonna get so much more notoriety. People gonna know your name. You got that crossover appeal. It's kind of like when you're a rapper and you stay true to the culture. You only rap about, Future. You only rap about, you know what I'm saying? Popping pills, shooting niggas, and drinking lean. Like, you're true to the culture, or even take it to a further extent. You Nas, and you only do, boom bap, picking trash ass beats, but just good ass lyrics.
Yeah.
Or you got a Drake, who got crossover appeal. He'll sing a song. He'll sing a song, you know what I'm saying? Now, look at his audience when he goes on tour. always gonna be packed because he got that majority. So that's what it is. It's like the benefit of paying players for Power 5 schools is that now you can't, if everything is across the board, like on the up and up, we're not paying players with boosters and shit like that. Okay, well, if we gonna pay the players, we can pay the players the most.
Yeah.
So now we gonna even the playing field. Now Dion, I'm sorry, bro, we taking the motherfuckers you was gonna get based off of your popularity and your notoriety because we could get these about $3 million. I know I'm Mike Krzyzewski. I could give them a contract with Nike. You know what I'm saying? Even though he left. Yeah. So that's my idea. That's one of the ideas of like why they made this change. It's because those top schools know it's no more notoriety you could get at a school like a Morgan, a Howard, a Tuskegee. You know what I'm saying? Because we already on TV. We already got the monopoly.
Right. We had that platform already.
Yeah.
And they got the capital for it already.
Yeah. Then another factor that went into this, bro.
Man. So we're gonna still retain these top players.
Exactly. Because they seen this.
We can't have that happen. We can't have that movement. So basically, they seen the movement coming.
Right.
We can't have that.
Nah.
Y'all want this money? We gonna give you that money.
Right. And now it's legal boosting. Like what we was doing on the low before. Fuck it.
Right. So they seen they was getting ready to lose out on the contract. Oh, okay.
Yeah. They seen it coming.
Yeah.
So on top of that, not only do you got these influential people coming back and re-injecting life into these HBCU sports programs, now you got the XFL. You gotta be 18 to play. It ain't no 1 year of college, no nothing. This is professional football, granted at a lower level, but they're trying to make this into like a G League or a developmental league type of program. So the XFL, you already had a guy defect from a nice college to go to the XFL, try to get into the league. I don't know if he made it, but you could technically graduate from high school, go straight to the XFL, do 2 years, actually 3, and you straight. You could go to NFL if you really got talent like that. Now
so you had to do 3 years there, or is it
NFL? You got to be 3 years removed from high school. That's why everybody redshirt their freshman year.
Yeah.
So now this is a much less proven route because the XFL, I mean, they technically defected, went bankrupt like 2 years ago. But let's say that 10 years down the road, the XFL is a solid organization. They get top talent.
Right.
Guys are gonna come from there. Then you look at basketball and baseball; those are the two best examples of some type of developmental league. Like baseball, they never had a stipulation of where you had to go. Yeah. They'd be getting 16-year-olds from Panama, Panama City, Panama, Cuba.
100 hour fastball.
Right, exactly. It's just do you have the ability or do you not? And that's what sports is supposed to be at its core. It's a meritocracy. Yeah. But the NCAA, the Olympic Committee, all of these places put all of these stipulations on it so that they can weed out people that don't necessarily suit the environment they're trying to create, which is a monopoly. And NCAA is the biggest example of that. The G League, they just had their first crop of guys.
No problem.
Maybe not their first crop, but it was like a major crop of guys, like top 10 prospects that went straight to the G League. Yeah. F that, I'm gonna make $300K.
Some guy he got
drafted last night. Jalen something. Yeah, he tough.
Yeah.
We knew what he was. LeBron, you can't argue in the NFL that you can't come out of high school. I mean, the NBA that you can't come out of high school. LeBron James, Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, these are some of the greatest players of all time.
Right.
You don't need college in basketball.
Right.
Football, I will argue most players do need some type of development.
Because of the grown man factor, right? The game is so physical.
Right.
That,
you need it.
Yeah.
But
17-year-old, 18-year-old.
But it's a few players that if they so chose, I do believe they could have went straight to the league.
They could have.
Ain't no way you can tell me.
Straight to the league.
AP.
Right out of high school. Yeah.
Right out of high school. He said it himself. He was like, I could have went to the league out of high school.
Yeah.
It's a formality. Everybody knew what I was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who else? I think, and that thing is certain positions too. Yeah. Like Randy Moss.
Until you get hit by Bobs.
Ed Reed.
He would have got some good runs.
Yeah.
But it'd be a little different though if somebody hit you.
Bro, I'm telling you, man. It's not
NFL. What they got?
What was the dude he played with? Lance Briggs. Yeah, it's a different game.
Yeah.
It's a different game. But at the same time, like, what other career is there an age requirement on you to be a professional in that field?
Write it down.
You can't wait your whole life to make a change.
Believe in yourself.
Innovate with integrity and intentionality.